Hello, everybody. Today we will be discussing
Insight to influence, which is like uh, about our ability to each individual's ability actually to communicate and articulate things which are so very essential. So let us start with this. Let me share the screen. Here we are. Insight to influence. So do you ever feel like you know more than you show? You have so much of ability or understanding also, but you don't show because you don't believe in blowing your own trumpet. Why deep knowing doesn't produce deep opportunity or impact? That might be your question, because somehow deep opportunity might be escaping you. So the invisible tax on mid-career expertise. There is a powerful paradox many professionals live with. You know the truth, you um, see the problem, you even have the solution. But in the moment, you don't speak. Why? Because you are thinking, is this the right time? Am I saying it perfectly? What if I am wrong? So you stay silent. But here is what happens: the room doesn't see your thinking. The room only sees your silence. And silence is often misinterpreted as lack of clarity. This is the speaking versus silence paradox. You think deeply but don't express. Others speak quickly and get seen. Inside line is, what you don't express doesn't exist for others. So you might have this confusion. Those who don't, those who know don't speak paradox. There is a belief that deep people don't speak much. But is that helping you? You may have heard this. Those who know don't speak. Those who speak don't know. It sounds wise, but in today's professional world, it can become a trap because many capable professionals internalize this. They think, if I am truly deep, I don't need to say much. So they hold back, they observe, they analyze, they stay silent. But here is the problem: workplace doesn't reward silent depth, they reward clear contribution. If your ideas stay in your head, they don't create impact. Depth is respected only when it is expressed. So, the hidden knowledge. You can see here the speaking versus silence paradox. Why this matters is explores the dilemma. Should you say what you know or stay silent? Mirrors your concept. People know the truth but don't express it. Shows how silence versus articulation impacts outcomes. Your audience isn't lacking knowledge. They are stuck in the decision to express or not. So I am Sangeeta, I am a coach, and I am thinking about my audience who, despite their deep knowledge, are not speaking at all, thinking that it is not the right time to speak out. And then this those who know don't speak paradox. This idea comes from ancient philosophy, often attributed to Laozi. Those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know. That, but Why that matters suggests deep knowledge is often hard to express. Once that overthinking can block articulation, shows tension between depth and communication. But this is exactly your space. Deep thinkers become silent. Silence creates invisibility, which is happening to you. Now let us talk about Polanyi's paradox, hidden knowledge problem. You can always search this video and watch it, but right now this is a powerful but under discussed subject. We can know more than we can tell. Why this matters? Because people have tacit knowledge, internal clarity, but they cannot verbalize it easily. This creates a gap between competence and communication. This is the scientific foundation of our expression paradox. So, your struggle is when it comes to explaining it clearly, words don't come easily, structure is missing, clarity feels stuck. So, others assume maybe they don't know enough, maybe you don't know enough. But the truth is, you know, you just can't express it. And that gap creates invisibility. Your knowledge is hidden until your words reveal it. Do you get that? Now, communication style paradox, direct versus indirect expression. Research shows some people are trained to express clearly, others are conditioned to hold back or imply. What if your silence is not your weakness, but your conditioning? Not everyone is trained to speak up. Some of us were taught don't interrupt, don't speak unless asked, be respectful, not assertive. So we grow up becoming good listeners, deep thinkers, quiet contributors. But in professional environments, this becomes a disadvantage because visibility requires expression. So it is not that you lack clarity, you were never trained to express it. And now you are competing with people who are. It is not your capability, it is your communication pattern. So it is just a pattern. Think of that. Now, what you should, and there is another thing also, which is Abelian's paradox. Have you ever agreed in a meeting, even when you don't fully agree? This is called the Abelian paradox, where people go along with something and even when they internally disagree. Why? Because they think others must be okay with it. I don't want to create conflict. Let me go with the flow. So they stay silent. But here is what happens. Bad decisions get made, strong ideas are hidden, and capable people stay invisible because they choose comfort over expression. Silence protects you in the moment but costs you in the long run. So the combo is you can also combine all into one. You don't lack knowledge, you lack expression. Across all these paradoxes, one thing is common. You know, you understand, you see clearly, but you don't express, and that creates the biggest gap in your career. The gap between capability and visibility. So, unexpressed knowledge is not power, expressed insight is. You solve it, that is your edge. Now, know it versus say it. Deep expertise often traps us in an infinite loop of overanalysis. The more you know, the more angles you see, the more perspectives you consider, the more outcomes you try to predict. And slowly, clarity turns into complexity. You don't struggle because you lack answers, but you struggle because you see too many. So instead of expressing, you refine. Instead of speaking, you evaluate. Instead of acting, you optimize. And in that loop, ideas stay internal. Decisions get delayed. Opportunities move on. And the hidden truth is overanalysis comes from confusion. It comes from depth without direction. Your mind is trained to explore, but not trained to conclude. Your growth is not limited by what you know, but by what you express. So, the shift is what I know, a complex work topic you understand deeply and see clearly. What I say, how you explain it in a meeting, is it as clear as you would like? Be honest with yourself. So, the shift happens when you don't need more thinking, you need structured expression, a way to say, this is what matters, this is what I see, this is what I recommend, without trying to cover anything. So, the structured methodology is for visible impact. So we have these three modules when you come to the workshop. So the module 1 will be like of hidden depth. Module 2 will be insight creation. Module 3 will be expression to influence. And every module will have at least 5 tools to learn how to create insight, thinking to structure. So each time you are kind of confused what to say, you are thinking. And when you have a concrete idea about what to speak, then you are speaking, right? The moment you have the idea to speak, something comes to your mind which you want to share, is then speaking happens, even though you are not accustomed to speaking. The insight is what a structured thought that turns a complex observations into a clear, actionable idea. When does this happen? It happens when you are experiencing some practical situation in your life. So remember that practical situation right now in front of the meeting room. You are there expressing, like expressing yourself. You are supposed to express yourself. Others are expressing, right? So the module 1 is measure the gap between your mind and the room. The goal is build awareness of the expression gap within you. And we will do some exercise wherein we will be map the difference between what you intrinsically understand and the exact words that actually leave your mouth under pressure. You are not lacking clarity, you are lacking a bridge. So allow yourself that habit to express something. Maybe you can stop the moment you find something is holding you or you have not expressed much. Don't confuse other people by saying much because you are confused yourself within. So, but since it is a practice, just speak out something. That will be module 1. And then make thinking visible, confident expression. Whatever you are saying, be confident about that, not right or wrong. You have to be very confident, right? See, people who are making impression are very confident and they don't think about what is before this, what will happen in future. They are not thinking about it. They are just expressing what is or how they understand the situation right now. So the inside framework is like you observe, you observe your pattern, the truth. You will find out the truth between your perception, observation, and thinking pattern, and then you express. Essential skills are simplification, speaking and writing clearly, real-time articulation. So the most simplest thing to do is just go on and journal. Whatever comes to your mind, allow it to flow without thinking about whether you are writing logically or not. Don't put any bridge or any bondage or any block to your thought flow. Once you allow that, actually some thoughts will try to formulate into some logical thing. And to start, that is what you need. A small opening, a small logical thing. Then module 2 will be turn raw observation into uh, structured insights. So how that will be? Again, observation, pattern, truth, and the shift. So whatever you observe, just random thing, but you know behind your back, at the back of your mind, you know that something has clicked, but still you don't know what exactly has clicked. But whatever you have observed, you can write that down. Now, there is an advantage of ChatGPT. Whatever you observe, just put it down and how you are thinking, how you are feeling. If you can give 2, 3 words, then the opening version ChatGPT will be able to give. And you can start with that. That might not be the truth. Distilling through to truth will be the later point, but we can start. And in the workshop that we are proposing in module 2, we'll actually do some exercises about all this. And the fourth is the shift. When you actually make the first observation, logically or illogically, to you, it is logical, and just say it without confusing much. So say a little, but say something. And that is the shift, and you will feel different. Now, let us go to next. Express to grow, which is articulation and growth. The moment you do the first step, do the small articulation, it will grow into a bigger articulation next day. So, module 3 will be edit your complexity into undeniable clarity. So, first of all, don't expect it to happen in one day. It requires some practice. Practice starts when you start journaling and asking ChatGPT. It will give the first version of clarity. And check whether it kind of lands within you. It will not at times. So then also take the first version and start expressing. And you will slowly you will find that there will be some complexity in your thought process that will ease up, and it will give some clarity. The first level clarity. That is what we need to start with. Your growth is not limited by what you know, but by what you express. So, what insight will you share first? Think of that. So, influence requires all three variables: depth, insight, visualize, and expression, which is visible impact. Depth without expression is invisible. That is module 1, philosophy. Expression without insight is just noise, which is module 2. If any of these variables is 0, your resulting influence is in the room is 0. So that is what we will be dealing with. Influence, ultimately, this is resourceful influencing. Be resourceful with whatever your experience is. It will give you a lot of resources, a lot of influence also. If you know a little, even to a very small extent, but it should not be 0. It will give you the impact that you are craving for, right? From hidden depth to undeniable signal. The result will be you no longer will rely on people figuring out how smart you are. You don't bother about their validation anymore. Through the insight to influence system, your internal clarity becomes a structured, visible asset that commands the room. You have the depth. It is time to engineer the impact. And that is all about insight to influence. So, how do you like this subject matter? Come to the workshop and we will do many small tasks so that immediately you will achieve a breakthrough. I am Sangeeta, I am a significance coach, and I empower people to have significance and create a legacy. See you in my Sunday class, which happens at 3:30 p.m. every Sunday. Thank you for watching.